What's up YouTube, it's Chris Dude here, coming back at you with another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at how you can get the best possible video quality out of your YouTube live streams. Let's get on it. Alright, I gotta give a huge shout out to my good buddy Dr. Ew over on YouTube. I'll have a link to his channel and his Twitter down in the description. He's the one that designed my awesome little animated intro there, and if any of you out there are interested in having similar work done for your channel, be sure to drop him a line. I'm sure he'd be happy to help. Alright, now on to the tutorial. Alright, so we're opening up OBS here. Gonna start from a blank screen. I'm going to show you guys step by step what you can do and explain along the way. Even though you're going to have different hardware and software configs than I do myself, I can still probably explain it in such a way that you'll be able to use trial and error, guess and check, things like that to, you know, get the similar results. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, don't worry. The first thing we're going to do is go into the settings, and I'm going to kind of just go over these one at a time to give you a little bit of insight on what we're doing here. General, don't have to touch that. Encoding, this is the single most important screen that we're going to start with here. Alright, so you have to ask yourself, if you have not so great of a processor, but you do happen to have an NVIDIA graphics card, you can use the NVIDIA encoding option as a very viable option to handle your stream encoding to help get some of the load off of your CPU. It's actually a very good option. I've used it plenty of times. I only like to use it on YouTube gaming though, because of, you know, they allow you to have a bit rate of 9,000 kilobits, which is insane, and it helps to clean up the image a little better. Graphics card encoding is not the best way to go as far as video quality goes, but if that's all you got to work with, that's all you got to work with, and I'll show you how to maximize that also. Alright, so we're going to start with the CPU portion of this, so we're going to select X264 as our primary encoder. Now this option should be the same on AMD and Intel chips, shouldn't make a difference. Alright, now the second thing we're going to look at is the max bit rate here. Now what you have to keep in mind with this is your maximum bit rate for YouTube game ingest servers is going to be 9,000 kilobits. You can go beyond that. I've seen people go beyond that, but when you do that, you're going to introduce possible instability or hiccups to your stream, or YouTube might just decide to stop taking the ingest because the bit rate's too high. You never really know, so enter at your own risk on that one. Alright, so what you want to keep in mind is with your max bit rate, you want to make sure it's at least no more than half of what your actual max upload rate is. So for instance, if your max upload is 18,000 kilobits, which you can test on speedtest.net, which I'll have a link to in the description, then you'll be good at 9,000 kilobits. So let's say your upload's not so good. Let's say your upload's like 5 megabits. So in that case, then you would just change this to 2,500, just to cut it in half, for instance. So no matter what your upload is, try to get as high as you can off of whatever half of it is. Just don't exceed 9,000, because then, you know, you're kind of in dangerous territory there. Alright, so we're going to leave mine at 9,000 just for the sake of this video. Also, be sure that you have constant bitrate checked and constant bitrate padding also checked. That ensures basically smooth bit rates for the ingestion servers to pick up on. So yeah, it's very important. You're going to need that. Audio encoding, that's all oh, thanks phone for going off. Let me shut this shit off. Hopefully I remember to cut this part out, but I probably won't. Because I'm a rookie, and this is my first tutorial video. Anyway, yeah, use CBR, enable CBR padding, it's all good to go. Audio, that's all personal preference, dude. Do what you want. I'm going to tell you though, with your audio bitrate, if you go over 128, chances are most people aren't going to be able to take advantage of that anyway, so you're kind of just wasting bandwidth. And while we're on the subject, this 128 that it's showing you right here for your audio bitrate, you have to figure in this with the max bitrate, because max bitrate includes both video and audio. So if I'm streaming at a max bitrate of 9,000, that means that my video is getting 8,900 and whatever the math is, or I'm sorry, 8,800 and I can't do math. You guys can figure that out. Way too late in the day for me. Alright, so we got all that covered. Let's go to save and apply changes. Broadcast settings, this is all, you guys know how to do this. If you're a streamer, you already know how to set this up. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. Just make sure you're set to the primary YouTube ingest server. If you have a problem, you can switch to the backup server, and it's also nice to use as well. Alright, so we're in the video section here. Video adapter on the top. This is going to tell you what graphics card or chipset you are currently running OBS with. If you click the drop down box and you have more than one GPU, like say you have a GPU dedicated in the PCI Express slot, and you also have built-in graphics on your motherboard or your processor, like Intel graphics, you know, for instance, you can just select which one of those you want to be your primary driver there, or display adapter there. Alright, so this is the other thing, the resolution. This is a big part of it. YouTube has what's called a bitrate table, which shows you all the values for all the resolutions you can live stream at. I'll have a link for that in the description also. I strongly suggest that you follow it pretty closely. If you exceed the bit rates in any of those resolution categories, don't know what to tell you. I have no clue what'll happen, so I guess you can let me know. Alright, so for this example, we're gonna say that you have an okay CPU, and we're gonna say that you're gonna want to stream at 720p. Alright, so we're gonna leave the main base resolution alone at 1920 by 1080, just so it lines up with your monitor. And we're gonna downscale this to 720p. Alright, so this is what your actual file output is gonna be. Alright, now this right here, this filter thing, a lot of people have questions about this. All this means is it's going to spend, if you set it to fastest, it's not going to spend much time at all cleaning up the downsample from 1080 to 720. So basically, this is going to give you the best quality right here, if you have the CPU overhead to spare on it. Alright, frame rate 60 or 30, doesn't matter, you pick it. If you do 30, however, you're going to have to dial in a lower bit rate than you normally would, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so we're gonna leave this at 60 though, just for the purpose of this video. Click apply. Alright, this is where the meat and potatoes is right here. This is absolutely what is going to determine the final quality of your video. Alright, so right here under general, we have a box that says use multi-threaded optimizations. Make sure that is checked. Absolutely make sure it's checked. Alright, process priority class, by default when you first install OBS, this is going to be set to normal. However, I set it to above normal because I would rather my computer make sure the stream has priority over the game that I'm playing. That's my personal preference. If you're playing a competitive game, you might not want to do that, but that's up to you. Alright, this right here is literally what determines what the quality is going to be. Alright, I'm going to explain to you what these presets do. I've watched a lot of tutorials and people have done a pretty crap job at explaining what they are, so I'm going to try to do a better job. Alright, so when you first open up OBS for the first time, this is automatically going to be set to super fast, 9 times out of 10. Alright, the best way I can explain what this does is picture these, instead of them being fast, medium, and slow, picture them as not very much time to a lot of time, if that makes any sense. Alright, now what that means is if you're set to the ultra fast preset, what that's going to do is your CPU is not going to spend any time at all cleaning up the stream. So if you leave this on ultra fast and you're streaming at 60 frames per second on a fast-paced game, for instance, like Call of Duty Black Ops 3, and you're doing a lot of running around, and you notice on some people's streams how there's just pixelation everywhere, that's what's going to happen if you use this setting. Keep in mind though, when you up your resolution, like if you go from 720p to 1080p, this is going to really start kicking your computer's ass straight up. So super fast is what it's set to by default. All you have to do is go through these settings one at a time, just doing local recordings to see how far you can push it. Most of the time, from even like medium to slightly high-end quad cores can handle very fast preset at 720p. From what I've seen, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now what that's going to do is it's going to spend a fair amount of time throwing extra CPU cycles to clean up your image, more or less. So all you have to do is guess and check. I can't tell you exactly what your best option is going to be. For one, I don't know what CPU you have, and two, even if I did, if everybody submitted it, that would be a lot of CPU cycling to go through. Holy crap. Alright, so just do that. So go in here and set this, start with very fast to start pushing it. So set it to very fast, load up your game, do a local recording of just, a little bit of gameplay, about, a couple minutes or so, and then go back and watch it back, and then see if you can see a quality difference between super fast and very fast. Now, if it doesn't make your game lag or the recording lag, go ahead and put it down another notch to faster and see if you can pull that off. Alright, so basically you just want to see how far you can go down here before your CPU chokes out and says, nope, can't go any farther. That's where you know you're gonna stop at. I feel like I'm doing a really bad job at explaining this, but any questions you guys have, just leave them down in the comments and I'll be sure to answer all of them. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the CPU part of the encoding. Now, yes, save and apply changes. We're going to go back to the GPU portion. Now we're going to switch over to the NVIDIA encoder. All the rest of the shit we just did is going to stay the same. You don't have to change anything else. Just leave all that how it is. And we're going to go back into advanced. Now you'll notice the X.264 option is now gone. Now it's under the NVIDIA encoder preset. You open this and holy shit, there's a lot of options. Alright, and I'm gonna give you the short version of this. I played with all of them. If you have a very powerful graphics card, like I'm talking, well, maybe not necessarily powerful, but a more recent one, like a 9 series GeForce card, like the GTX 960 or higher, you'll be okay doing the high quality preset right here. That'll be fine. If you're on anything other than that, if you're on any NVIDIA card that is not a 9 series card and is older than a 9 series card, you set this to default. It'll do the rest. That's the best possible quality you're going to get out of it in vDefault. So I think that about wraps it up. Trying to see if there's anything else that I missed here. Oh, I think that pretty much does it. So yeah, guys, happy trial and error hunting. I hope you all get the best possible stream that you can, and any questions you have, just shoot them off in the comments or tweet me. I'm at ChrisDude, and be sure to give a like on the video if you like it, dislike it if you disliked it, which, that's not gonna hurt my feelings. See, I know I did a shit job at explaining it, but I would appreciate the fan interaction anyway. Alright, so thanks guys, and until next time.